Well, hello there, and welcome again to the Devon Business Show 2024 from the Devon Chamber of Commerce. And you said Devon and Plymouth, but it is the Devon Chamber of Commerce, the Plymouth Chamber of Commerce, and the Exeter Chamber of Commerce. A new and exciting future in supporting the business community. We're here at the Plymouth Life Centre, and I've got a right panel with me right now. I can tell you they've been causing all sorts of trouble before we've gone live. We are going to be talking about the environment, but before we get into any detail, let's give some shout outs to some of the exhibitors here today. And we'd like to say hello to Children's Hospice Southwest, On Course Southwest, Devon Scouts, the Focus Training Group, YMCA Plymouth, Practice Plus Group, and of course our good friends in media, PB Media as well. Right, so let's say hello to our guests on programme 2, our headline partner of Planet YGS Landscapes. Please put your hands together for Mr. Steve Warren Brown.
Morning all. Morning Paul, morning Lou,
literally
Mark.
Just stepped off a plane, but we'll go into more details about that in a few moments. Also, our supporter in terms of impact partner from Climate Connections. Please put your hands together for Lou Brook. Woo, 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 woo. Who apparently has brought some games to play, and that's going to be fun. And also our virtual exhibitor bag, Inch Recycling, the man who knows how to make everything recyclable, Mr. Mark Hinchcliffe. Hello! Hello. I see far too much energy. By the end of today, we'll all be a bit more sombre, I think, in terms of how we welcome people. Right, so let me start with Steve Warren Brown. Steve, you've literally just got off a plane and come straight to the Plymouth Life Centre to talk to us about the climate, about the importance of the planet's future, which is definitely going to be a theme with regards to what we're talking about today. Can you tell us more, please, sir?
Yes, I got back from Japan 3:30 this morning. Attempted to sleep and it didn't work, so I'm okay at the moment.
Yes.
But, let's get this over with quickly. That's all I can say. No, I'm joking. I was there. I was honoured to be invited as a guest for the United Nations Convention for Combating Desertification, and they've seen my work through my books, my Wacky Forest, and my books are written about Akira Miyawaki and his wonderful work that he's been doing since was doing from the late 70s. And I've played with his surname a bit respectfully and created the brand My Wacky Forest. And I've taken the books over to Japan and presented them to his student, Dr. Fuzui Kujiwara. And that's right, got it right. And I've sat and had a dinner with them, and I've planted a forest over there. It's been a wonderful. I'm in a real bubble, and I don't want to go on too much because we've got some really great guests here as well. So
well, we'll come back to it later on, because I want to ask you about the fact that you did do a presentation to quite a highbrow audience, which we really must celebrate as a region, because it's great when one of our own go abroad and have the opportunity to do that. But let's just let's say hello to Lou. Now, Lou, Climate Connections, it's all about educating businesses, individuals about the importance of the planet's future. And let's face it, a business show like this is probably a quite good opportunity to do that. Why are you here, and what would you want to achieve in terms of delivering that message today?
Okay, well, as you say, I'm look after the Climate Connections initiative, which is an initiative funded by the council. And as a city, we're committed to getting to net zero. All the repercussions of climate change we can see around us, and the reality is we've all got to play our part. And businesses themselves play a huge role in that, not only with their own premises and vehicles, but also the huge amount of staff they have and influence they have on that side. So we're here to spread the word and to help businesses understand what are the actions that we need everyone to take take steps towards net zero, and how we can all support each other. So we're trying to bring all those businesses to share information and learn from each other as well. We've got a few games to keep people on their toes, see what they know and what they don't. And yes, we're hoping that people will sign up to show what it is they're committed to and what lessons they've learned along the way, because the more we can learn from each other, the absolutely better it's going to be.
And I think that's a really important thing you mentioned earlier about our footprint, our achievement and the journey that we're all on towards going to net zero. If we just cut to the GoPro, and you can see all the businesses that are behind us now in the arena, there are hundreds of organizations there. Every single organization has a footprint. Whether it's a good one, whether it's a negative one, we create waste, we utilize waste, and we buy things, we sell things. I guess our legacy, our environmental legacy that we leave behind as business owners, it's something we shouldn't take lightly, is it? It's a really important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing is it's just more important than ever to the people that you employ. So being a responsible employer and showing that you are actually taking steps to support the environment and actually to make sure that we're not polluting the world and making it a poorer place for the future is really important to keeping your staff on board and engaged with your organisation. We all want to work for organisations that are purposeful and responsible. So, and I think a lot of the organisations down here are, and many of them have signed up to Climate Connections to share what they're doing. So we just hope that more and more will do too.
And being responsible as a business is where I'm going to bring Mark in. Now, Mark, your organisation enables responsibility.
Yeah,
businesses, doesn't it?
I mean, I suppose everything we do is save something going to landfill, and we don't sell rubbish. You know, it's good stuff. So, yeah, what we do. I mean, we're having a big restructure. So
you're recycling the business.
I'm recycling the business. Yeah, and I think talking to Climate Connections and looking at this game in particular was a great eye opener. That's a great game. We'll go on.
We'll do that in a few moments.
Yeah. So we're cutting down on the amount of storage we're doing. We've signed up, and we are one of the only auctioneers in Devon and Cornwall now for a software called Bid Spotter. And what it means, the European audience, and it means now I can go into businesses and I can sell the assets without moving them. Because normally what we do, we go in, we have to take them out, we store them, which has an impact, and then we sell them. Whereas by using this bit of software and by maybe integrating like we're trying to do social media wise, we don't have to move the items anymore. So there's a great saving in that. So we're
kind of reducing the carbon footprint of the actual
trying to reduce our carbon
thing of moving product from A to B.
It's really frustrating. You know, there's diesel vans, there's electric vans. The vans that we need, the size we use, have to be diesel. It's very difficult sometimes, and I can see the struggle. And the first Climate Connect talk I went to, it's very hard to evaluate in your head how you can make changes, because one, there's an expense to some of them. You know, moving to an electric van, that can be quite expensive if you've got no diesel. So we just looked at our business a bit differently, trying to do things a bit differently, save where we can, and we'll just work on it. But it is a slow progress, unfortunately.
Lou, businesses, I think it's fair to say businesses do have frustrations like the ones that Mark mentioned. You know, we want to improve what we do, but sometimes the cost can be prohibitive, especially for small to medium-sized enterprises. How do you help businesses overcome those challenges?
Well, I think the council is doing a lot in that area. So, for example, we are working hard to put in the charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. But one of the other areas today as well is the Co-Wheels Car Club. And that is about providing access to a shared facility. So rather than having to own your own vehicles or fleet, you're able to, as a small business, plug into that which is there. And there is a big ambition to grow that car club. And you can imagine that we don't necessarily have all of the solutions around perhaps shared LGVs, but these are all opportunities that can be explored, and we can only explore those when we look together and know what everybody's problems and challenges are that they're facing, and can think around, well, what are the potential solutions that could help to solve that. But I know that, for example, Mark, on the reuse space, it's fantastic not having to buy in virgin goods that all have a carbon footprint. He's actually enabling all of those goods to be reused. So that's a huge win. And there are many wins that can be taken right now, such as that. such as when you're fitting out your offices, such as your biodiversity on the land that you are, and making sure that you're investing in pulling that carbon out of the atmosphere through trees. So there are still many things that can be done, and even obviously there's the games that we're trying to do is trying to tease some of those out. There are quite a huge amount of wins when looking at things like, energy demand. Well, clearly we want to have a better building stock that is really super energy efficient, but even we can actually change how we heat our homes by turning the boiler down 1 degree. Has a huge impact.
Yep, small steps.
Big impact.
Big impact.
So
yeah.
that same
and we can do that in our offices.
We can do it in our offices,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I think this is all. This discussion that we're having is key, and delivering messages, opening up discussion, enabling learning and education, amongst ourselves, and also sharing best practices is really important, and that's what business shows like this helps happen. Also, taking the discussion far and wide is something that I'm going to bring Steve in now with regards to your recent trip and your presentation. I teased it earlier, after which we're going to go to Lou's quizzes. You were invited by the United Nations, you went to Japan, and I believe you actually had to stand up in front of a not insignificant audience.
Yes, nearly 150.
Just
200.
put your microphone, you got a bit of mic droop there, you go, yeah. Remember the karaoke night, there we are.
150, 200 people.
Yes.
I mean, a real mix of academics, but forest makers from around the world. There are actually 24 different nations there. So I'm still a bit numbed by the whole thing. I've literally got back a few hours ago, and it's been a full-on 2 days of presentations. And as you said, Paul, I had the honour to demonstrate our work through Society, and it was very well received. People seem to like the idea of the children's books, and from me, I think these guys are saying, I think we're going through climate change, and we are in that. I've got over 20 vans at YGS, and it's my biggest bugbear is I couldn't afford to do it, but two, it was just not practical to change them all to electric. But small steps, we're going to do it as and when, and we know it'll come. Look at mobiles and how they've evolved in our lifetime. So it will happen. But the convention was 2 days of intense talks in the university, and then we went and saw living examples of Professor Miyawaki's work throughout various places. But the biggest sort of take for me was the actual planting of a small forest in the village of Shonan, which was cleared in the 80s and 90s, and then the bubble burst, and they ran out of money. So it's been, if you like, this whole forest had been stripped and left a rack and ruin, and now the community, they've already planted 80,000 trees over the last 10 years, and you stood there with the people that have been doing that, and then some kids come in, and it just gets all very emotional.
I can imagine.
Wonderful procedures, they're very ritualistic and just real honour, and in fact,
sounds quite spiritual, actually, if I may say. I'm not
spiritual.
an overly spiritual person myself, but it does sound spiritual.
Hugely spiritual. They've got a very precise way. Everything is done in a certain way, and they're incredibly respectful about it, which is only right, because this guy's he passed away in July of 21, sadly, but wonderful. And his legacy lives on because they take his old pair of wellies and his hat, and they put it on a log somewhere by, so he is watching over and sharing the experience, and being down on my hands and knees with the children, planting trees in a forest in Japan, and then having the opportunity kindly offered to me by Dr. Fujiwara to gift my books to the children I'm speechless, to be frank.
I have got another vision in my head, and I can't get rid of it. And since you went there to plant a forest, and it's like a plaque. Here lieth thy forest, planteth by Mr. Steve Warren Brown. Did you have a plaque?
Well, ironically...
Because I'm not interested if you didn't.
We did. We were all asked to write our words, and I just put huge respect, love and admiration from Plymouth and Society. So... yeah.
That's great. So you
and I actually interviewed a couple of our colleagues, and there was some tears. It was.
I'm not surprised.
It was incredibly humbling.
Mark. Can I say that? So we through Roundtable, we sponsored one of Steve's wacky forests at the YMCA, and so we helped clear the ground and plant it. I was quite amazed by two things. One, how little space it took for the CO2 savings that it will give. And the other thing is, if you drive by and you look at it from the A38, the growth and the speed of the growth is quite incredible. And then the third thing was, I wasn't there on the day of the opening with the kids, but the feedback we got through the guys that did go there is all the kids took a whole new meaning from what trees actually do. So I think the whole thing's amazing. Yeah, and great respect for Steve.
I was probably the most poignant bit was in the Sunday afternoon. We went to a school where they planted a forest a couple of years ago, and it's already 8 foot tall.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they asked 4 children to present to us, and I filmed all of them. And there's a 7-year-old child, Japanese child, reading her thoughts and basically pleading to the world to embrace Professor Miyawaki's work because it is so quick and effective, and spread the word, and incredibly grateful to us for being there. And it's kind of like, I'm just filling up thinking about it. It was so humbling, and I'm gonna use that video. I think it's an incredibly powerful sort of 2 minutes for those people that don't get this.
Yes.
They need to see this.
And use the experience as an angle to continue to deliver the message and reach out to new people. Lou, you this must be music to your ears. People travelling to share the knowledge, to learn best practice, to experience things. The example that Mark was saying with regards to how the business community helped Steve on this particular journey, and the fact that businesses genuinely do want to improve their approach to climate, don't they?
Yeah, it is very heartening from that perspective, and I think from our perspective, the work that Steve does it is great. I guess some of the things for us is there's a lot of things that businesses don't think about, so they focus a lot on thinking perhaps around nature and trees, and we need that more than ever. Totally get that, and we need businesses that support reuse more than ever. But there is a huge amount of opportunity in other areas in thinking about how we travel around. We can make much healthier choices as businesses and as people going to work, and thinking about the buildings we operate in and how we use our energy. So it is really heartening, but I think there is still quite a big gap between what we're doing and what we need to do. And that's our job, I guess, is to try and help and support all of these businesses, A, to understand the scale of what it is we need to achieve, B, to work together and to come up and find solutions to those financing challenges around electric vehicle transitions, and also just to get the knowledge that we need to be able to get to that next
Mark
step.
looks very much in agreement.
Yeah, and I was, and this exercise in particular that we've seen just now was a bit of an eye-opener for me.
Let's come on to this, actually. Come on, you're dying to have a go, aren't
Well,
you,
no,
Mark?
I have had a go, to be fair.
Oh,
He
okay.
already knows
Yeah.
the answers. Come on.
Steve's next.
But I think the 2 examples I've seen you show someone, even Lou, you were a bit surprised at some of the stuff within the council and things that you can do within the planning office that maybe help. So I think everyone can learn. We all learn every day. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, was a massive eye-opener.
So
I'll let you do it.
For those that are listening on the audio-only podcast, I need to explain this and describe this. Now, Lou's holding up 2 cards. On her right-hand side, she's got a card which has got a picture of a shovel. Is that a shovel?
It's a trowel.
A trowel? A trowel?
And some bricks.
Did
Trowel
you just
and
say that
2
was a shovel?
bricks. Trust me, DIY.
I don't think he does DIY.
I'm destroy it yourself, me. And above it says building a new house, open brackets, 4 bedrooms detached, close brackets. And on the second card is a picture of a house, I know what that is, which above it says refurbishing an existing house. So, Lou, describe it to us.
Want me to explain?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so basically I've got 2 cards in my hands, and
Yes.
they represent choices.
Okay.
So if I were to ask the question, maybe we'll start with you.
Oh, no. Put me on the spot.
So if I were to ask you the question, which of these has got a higher carbon footprint? Is it building a new 4-bedroom house, or is it refurbishing an existing house? Which of these has got a higher carbon footprint in your opinion?
I'm going to say refurbishing an existing house, and my rationale behind that is a lot of energy, infrastructure and effort has gone into making that house to begin with. Therefore, to kind of knock it down and start again would be a huge waste.
He knew the answer.
Oh, is that right?
I haven't had the chance to ask Steve yet.
Okay, Steve.
Well, I would say it would depend on the size of the house you're refurbishing.
Says 4-bedroom. Detached.
Refurbishing an existing house.
I
I would also say if you were building a new house, if you could build it in a carbon
neutral way.
way.
Yeah.
So I think there's some muddying, but I would
Okay.
be with you. I would say that is the way I would go.
Luke, can you, Mark,
shall
for
I-
a start.
I went the other way actually. I went build
Yeah.
a new house because I thought if you build it in a sustainable way over the time, then a new house would save more CO2s than refurbing an old
Yeah.
house. But I was totally.
I think we've all got good rationalisations. Luke, can you unmuddy our...
Shall I do the big reveal?
Yes, please. Reveal.
Okay. So building a new house, the carbon footprint is typically 53,000, so 53 tons of CO2, versus refurbishing an existing house, which is 8,000.
Ooh.
So
What an eye-opener.
refurbishing an existing house is much less, and that's largely because what people don't appreciate, I mean, you go to the top of class, Paul,
Thank
but
you.
what people don't appreciate is the carbon footprint of a house. Half of it is pretty much baked in before you set a foot through the front door, and that's because of the carbon footprint in the materials and the construction process. Now we're getting better at that all the time and reducing that embodied carbon, but so there are some really great energy efficient homes going up, and that's the way that we need to go in the future. But if we can refurbish our existing houses, it gets called retrofit, then and make those more energy efficient, we don't have to put that extra carbon in the first place. What we're doing is saving all of the CO2 that will be emitted by reducing the amount of energy needed
Or you can
to
do,
warm and
or you can do what I've done, and that's not bother refurbishing your house at all, and just live in a mess. No, but then you've actually made a point on with regards to energy efficiency, which is a whole different
yeah.
game, isn't it?
But it's interesting, and I might not be 100% right on this, but it used to be that if you built a new house, then if you had an existing house and you knocked it down and you left one wall, you couldn't claim the VAT back. If you knock it all down and you build a brand new house, then you can claim the VAT back. So even legislation and even finances go kind of anti
Yes.
the refurbing.
See,
So
if
there's
that's the
lots of
case,
changes
legislation
that
needs to
need
catch
to
up.
happen
Yeah, yeah.
within government, within
Yeah.
legislation as well, I think. And it was a real eye-opener for me, that. Because I would have sworn that building a new, more energy-efficient house would be much better than building an existing
And the
one.
figure that really shocked me is the tonnage of that.
Yeah.
Can you give us that figure again? 53 tons
53 tons.
of
I don't know how much a
gas.
bus weighs, but I imagine it's quite a few.
plus,
Um,
yeah, and
and
8 tons versus
8
new.
tons. So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference, isn't it?
That is absolutely astonishing. So we need to make better decisions and better choices moving forward. I'm going to bring Mark back into that. Those choices include businesses, how we
Yeah.
set up our organisations,
Yeah,
how we
how we
dispose
set
of
up,
things.
yeah.
Yep.
How we do it.
And you've been a supporter of the Devon Business Show for many, many years.
Yep.
You obviously enjoy your experiences here, personally, but also professionally.
It's great because when you walk around and you suddenly meet people that you've connected with and you see, it does lots of things. One, it gives that reconnection. So people think about buying a desk from me all the time, probably. But the number of people I meet out there and they go, "Oh, I've been meaning to ring you for the last 2 months." So this is great. So you get a face to face, and I can make a note and I can follow up. So it's great for sales. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. But also, I think Plymouth community is very much a village, and if we all work together and we all help each other, we can't always get it right. It is tough out there for lots of businesses at the moment, but if we stick together and we help each other, and by bringing in certain things and learning every day, especially for the environment and what Steve does, what can go wrong? So this is amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Before I come back to you, Lou, to close with you, actually, because I'm sure we'll have to share some contact information for Climate Connections Plymouth. Steve, why are events like this still so important to YGS, My Wacky Forest, and yourself?
Mark's alluded to the networking perspective. YGS Landscapes is proud to sponsor Society. So Society is is my own standalone CIC. So to be clear, there, YGS is paying for the sponsorship for the Society to have a presence and to continue to share its word. So that, if you like, collaboration just within our own community of different businesses was really helpful. That's good timing.
That's sorry, you're still louder.
But it's the it's the networking opportunities. It's making sure you're meeting as many people as possible. I love having the opportunity to help other people meet people and do business together. The Chamber, I've been with the Chamber on and off for over 30 years, and I've been a director, as you know, for a couple of years, and it's fabulous to be able to know you can introduce new startup companies to people that they would be able to do business with and further their careers and opportunities. So I love that part of it as well. And it's fun. It's a good laugh. There's a lot of people in here having a laugh and having a good chat and catching up. It's just a wonderful day.
Yeah, it's informal.
Fantastic, and thank you very much to both of you for supporting the show, but also thank you to Lewin Climate Connection. So you shared a lot of insight during this interview. We could probably talk about this for quite a long time. Maybe we should get you in for something special in particular. But for those of us who want to find out more and get on board with Climate Connections, what are the next steps?
So if you're here at the show, please come down. Come and have a go at the banana game. We've got lots more questions like that.
I never thought I'd hear somebody say that in an interview. Come and have a go at the banana. Yes, as you were.
Excellent. And otherwise, Google Climate Connections Plymouth and you will find all of the different resources we have got to offer. If you're an organisation, we'd encourage you to come and take a look, see what it is that we have to do as a city and join up, because as a community, Climate Connections also has gatherings where we bring everybody together to share their learnings on a regular basis too. Lots of information and lots of opportunity to promote your own services if you operate in this space, and to share what it is you can offer the other businesses in the city that will help them on this journey. So Intracycling signed up, Society are signed up, and many more down below, so please come and do that.
Thank you very much, and thank you to our panellists for giving us so much insight and food for
Can
thought.
I have a cheap plug? 30 seconds.
You've got 10.
I'll be shot otherwise. Society's birthday, first anniversary, November the 1st. At the Boathouse, 6 o'clock. Please go and see Beth on our stand.
You
64.
literally just given an open invite to an event.
Well, you need to pay, perhaps contribute a little bit,
yes,
if you
good.
wouldn't mind. I know that's unusual for you, Paul. Please, I'd love to see you there. So come down to 64 and we'll tell you all about it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Very much,
Thank you,
everyone.
Paul.
So let's give some more shout-outs as we close this interview to Nespresso Professional. Thank you for joining us. Also to Wilcombe Young Solicitors, Flowtech, HBH Woolacotts, Big Wave Marketing, Plymouth Parkway FC, and Working Minds Group Limited. Come down to the Plymouth Life Centre for the Devon Business Show 2024.